Hallo und willkommen to this lesson unit. In this lesson unit, we are going to talk about the topic Konjugationen, schwache Verben im Präsens. Yes, it's a long title, but in English it would be Conjugations of the weak verbs in the present. In this module, we are going to answer the questions, what are weak verbs and how do I conjugate them? So let's start. The first step that we need to do is to get to know the German personal pronouns because in order to conjugate, we need to know them because we always conjugate fitting to the personal pronoun. Like in English, I am, you are, he, she, it is. They're always connected. So let's look at the German personal pronouns. We will read together. Ich, I, du, you, er, he, sie, she, es, it, wir, we, ihr, you, sie, they. So now we got to know the personal pronouns and we continue with the next step. We already learned how to express information about ourselves. We can express where we're from and where we live. In the example, you see the sentences. Ich komme aus Deutschland. I come from Germany. Ich wohne in Manila. I live in Manila. Now the question is, can I also express information about another person? About a woman, for example, she lives in Manila. How do I do that? For that, we have to look at the conjugation of those verbs. The verb kommen and the verb wohnen. The conjugation of kommen, to come, is ich komme, du kommst, er, sie, es kommt, wir kommen, ihr kommt, sie kommen. And the conjugation of wohnen, to live, is ich wohne, du wohnst, er, sie, es wohnt, wir wohnen, ihr wohnt, sie wohnen. Now, since we know the conjugation of both verbs, we are able to express information about another person. Instead of ich komme aus Deutschland, I come from Germany, we want to say she comes from Germany. So we just have to look at the verb kommen and the conjugation. She in German is sie, as we learned. So we look at sie, and the fitting conjugation is kommt. So now the sentence is going to be sie kommt aus Deutschland. She comes from Germany. And the same for the verb wohnen. Ich wohne, I live. We want to tell or express she lives in Manila. So we look at the conjugation of wohnen and see she is still sie. And the fitting conjugation is wohnt. So the sentence is sie wohnt in Manila. So now we were able to build these sentences and to express information about another person because we learned or saw the conjugation of the verbs kommen und wohnen. The question is, do we have to memorize every conjugation of every verb? And the answer is no, because for the weak verbs, there's a rule that will help you to conjugate those. And this is what we are going to talk about now. So when we look at the conjugation of the weak verbs, we will see similarities. For that, we will take a look at the verbs or at the conjugation of the verbs spielen, to play, and trinken, to drink. Let's read it together. Ich spiele, I play. Ich trinke, I drink. Du spielst, you play. Du trinkst, you drink. Sie, es spielt. He, she, it plays. Sie, es trinkt. He, she, it drinks. Wir spielen, we play. Wir trinken, we drink. Ihr spielt, you play. Ihr trinkt, you drink. Sie spielen, they play. Sie trinken, they drink. So that is the conjugation of those verbs. And as you may notice, it does not only sound similar, but also looks similar, because ich is always connected with the ending e. Spiele, trinke. Du is connected with st. Spielst, trinkst. Sie, es is connected with the ending t. Spielt, trinkt. Wir is connected with the ending en. Spielen, trinken. Ihr is connected with the ending t. Spielt, trinkt. Sie is connected with the ending en. Spielen, trinken. And that gives us a hint how we have to conjugate regular verbs, regular or weak verbs. The rule here is that you take the Verbstamm. The Verbstamm in English is the root of the verb. What is the root of the verb? In spielen, the root of the verb is spiel. In trinken, the root of the verb is trink. So it's the verb itself, but without the ending en. That's the root of the verb. And you add the fitting ending. Yeah. When you have ich, you take the root of the verb spiel, spiel, and then you add the fitting ending e. Spiele, e. Spielst, st. Spielt, t. Spielen, en. Spielt, t. Spielen, en. And that's the rule how to conjugate regular or weak verbs. Weak or regular verbs just describes the verbs that are conjugated with this rule, with this system. There's a system. So, as you see, every other verb that is regular can be conjugated with this system. You take the root of the verb, like trinken, the root of the verb is trink, and you add the fitting ending, depending on what subject or personal pronoun it is connected. Yeah, ich is connected with the e, du is connected with st, sie, es is connected with t, wir is connected with en, ihr is connected with the ending t, and sie is connected with en. And that's how you have to do it. There are exceptions, and this is what you can see here. You don't really have to focus on it right now, but so you know and you have the information, there are regular or weak verbs that are conjugated in the same way, but with a special or extra letter. When we look at the conjugation of arbeiten, when we conjugate it with the rule for the conjugation of the regular verbs, we would take the root of the verb, which is arbeit, yeah, and then we add ich arbeite, the e, then du arbeitst, the st, but as you see, this is not the case here. Du arbeitst sounds a bit weird. Therefore, the Germans decided to add the letter e for verbs or root of the verbs that end with the letter t, d, m, or n. We see when we take the root of the verb arbeiten, it's arbeit, and it ends with the letter t. It's one of those. Therefore, you have to add an e. When you have the personal pronoun du, or the personal pronoun er, sie, es, or the personal pronoun ihr, as you see here. The only reason for that is that it doesn't fit. It's like an uncompleted word if you do it or conjugate it the same way as the others. Yeah, if you would just add an t, it would be arbeit, er arbeit, double t, and it sounds weird. That's why they decided, okay, we add the e, arbeitet, sie, es arbeitet. That makes more sense. So the conjugation of arbeiten is the same, but with additional e's. Ich arbeite is the same. Ich trinke. Du arbeitest is not the same, additional e. Trinkst, arbeitest. Er, sie, es arbeitet, not the same, it is with an additional e. Wir arbeiten, wir trinken is the same. Ihr arbeitet, ihr trinkt is not the same, additional e. And sie arbeiten, sie trinken is the same. So you don't have to be confused by that, because with the exercise and practice, you will develop your knowledge for that from itself. So now you know the conjugation of the verbs of the weak or regular verbs. It is always with that system that you take the root of the verb and put or add the fitting ending letter. That's how you have to do it for every regular verb. So with this rule, you will be able to conjugate every other weak verb. Here you see a little list of some weak verbs, yeah, not all, it's just an example. So with this rule, you should be able to conjugate all of those. If I choose the verb schreiben, to write, the conjugation would be ich schreibe plus i, du schreibst plus st, er, sie, es schreibt plus t, wir schreiben plus in, ihr schreibt plus t, and sie schreiben plus in. And that's all. So if you want to build sentences, and we take, for example, the verb machen, do, to do, or to make, and we want to conjugate it, and we want to express, I do homework, or I do my homework. The conjugation is ich mache, and then you add the object, yeah? Normal structure of a sentence, subject, verb, object. Ich mache Hausaufgaben. Hausaufgaben is homework. Ich mache Hausaufgaben. Mache plus E. Du machst Hausaufgaben. You do homework plus st, machst. He, she, it does homework or their homework. So, macht, er, sie, es, macht Hausaufgaben. Macht plus T. Then we have wir machen Hausaufgaben. We do homework plus en. Ihr macht Hausaufgaben. You do homework plus T. And the last one, sie machen Hausaufgaben. They do homework plus en. That's the conjugation of machen and of every other weak verb or regular verb. So now we have the basic knowledge and we can work on this and continue with that. So thank you for joining this video, watching it. You will have a lot of exercise of it in your program, in your software. So I hope you enjoyed. If there are any questions left, you can always come back to this video or ask me in the online class. So see you on the next video.